And what do we know about this arraignment that would take place on Monday? What are the charges that have been so far told that will be charged, but he'll be charged with?
So according to Janine Pirro, the D.C. U.S. attorney, she said that the suspect was being charged for now with 2 counts, the using of a firearm during a crime of violence and also assault on a federal officer using dangerous weapon. Remember, one Secret Service member was also shot. Pirro said that the defendant would be arraigned on Monday in federal court and that she actually expects more charges to follow after this.
Absolutely. What we also know is, of course, all the guests were evacuated, and then Trump has also announced that this event will be rescheduled after 30 days. What do we know about that?
Yeah, the president believes that this is a very important event. He coined it as a unifying event, unity not only between different political parties that attend this event, but also the media and his administration, which he praised as being very fair recently, and saying that he hopes that he enjoys a better working relationship with the media during his second term. Those were his words, of course, tonight after this incident happened. And he, I think, believes in those values of the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, and he wants those to be front and center, and for this incident not to be viewed as an incident that would sort of cancel not only these values, but an event like this, which would sort of indicate that, that there's some kind of fear of an incident like this happening and undermining those values and events like these. So, he's mentioned it before. He mentioned it after Butler when there was an attempt on his life. He said that, the show must go on. We have to continue doing this. And if you remember, he continued with his outdoor campaigning as well, although security was a little tighter. But it's important to note that I think despite the fact that he said he doesn't know how his security situation is going to change right now, there's no doubt that the Secret Service and those that are tasked with protecting him are really reconsidering how to protect this president because just the numerous assassination attempts against his life at this point just cannot be really understated.
Absolutely. As you said, Susan, of course, this seems to be an extremely important event that is taking place. And it raises a lot of questions about even security at this point. But just for the viewers to get to know about what has happened, let me just brief it out. So U.S. President Donald Trump, he said that the shooting suspect at the White House press dinner was a would-be assassin. He was armed with multiple weapons. This, of course, comes after Trump and along with First Lady Melania Trump and all the highest officials were at this Correspondents Dinner where loud bangs were heard, and then the U.S. President Trump security team, they were seen evacuating Trump from the dais. Vice President J.D. Vance and members of Trump's cabinet were also in attendance, and they were also rushed out after the loud bangs that were heard. Another security incident, it took place outside the room where the president and other officials were attending this dinner. There are a lot of details that have been emerging, and according to Trump, the shooter was armed with multiple weapons, including shotgun, handgun, and knives. He's apparently a 31-year-old resident from California, and his place is the place where he belongs from, or his house is being raided. And what we know, according to the D.C. police chief, that the suspect has been taken to the hospital for more evaluations. The suspect will be charged with using a firearm during a crime of violence and assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. He will be arraigned on Monday. Now, President Trump had shared the CCTV footage that you see on your screens of the suspect rushing in from the security. There's also the image of the shooter that was shared by President Donald Trump. And now we also have the visuals that you see on the other side is the suspect's home, where he belongs from in California. Apparently, that place is being raided. These are live visuals coming in from this is apparently the gate of the house of the suspect in California, which will be raided. About the suspect, he happens to be a 31-year-old resident from California, and raids are currently taking place in his house. According to Trump and a lot of officers, this man was a lone actor. As far as we know, he was alone. And as of course, the suspect has been taken to the hospital for evaluations, and he will be arraigned on Monday. Of course, the suspect will be charged with using a firearm, doing a crime of violence, and assault on federal officer using a dangerous weapon.